Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you all 35 different quick and easy crochet gift ideas. These could be used for Christmas time since it's that time of year, but also birthdays and just any sort of event that you have going on. Each of these is stuff that I have patterns and videos for, so click in the description to see any of that. Now let's get right into the video. We're going to start off with different sorts of bags or sort of carryable items that I've made. So I want to start with these super simple tote bags. I have a blue version here with a thinner sort of yarn, as well as an orange version that's a little bit thicker. And both of these are up on my channel right now if you want to click over here. And the point of these bags is not only that they are a same repeatable half double crochet row, but they are probably the easiest tutorial up on my channel now. They have these super sturdy handles, as well as a sturdy sort of like flexible, yet not gonna stretch sort of build to them. So these are super easy and they only take a couple hours to finish. Just like everything else in this video, nothing will exceed a 4-hour make time, so it's stuff you can realistically do in a day if you needed. So these are bag number 1. Bag number 2 is also up on my channel now, and that is all of my little star bags. So this one here is totally lined, and it's one of my earlier patterns, so it does still have the hole in the center. Now, if you want to look at some of my newer patterns, or the one featured here in this video, I have a star here with absolutely no hole, and this one here has a little bit of a ridge exterior. Again, super simple, but it has that sort of puffier look to it. You also can flip them inside out like this, give me a second here, and have this sort of rounded finish too. Now, this one wasn't made for that, so it does have the little thing sticking out on this side, but the one in this video shows you how to make this puffier, more cartoonish star. I have plenty of other versions too. I have one that opens up this way with a sort of point made here and the inserts on the left and right. So these again are a super easy beginner project. They teach you how to do a magic ring, and also they're just super cute. Our next bag features a variation as well. So this is my little letter bag here, which teaches you how to make a triangle and also just functions as a nice shoulder bag. But I have a variation, which is this wallet that I made on my own. And as you can see, the only difference here is one has a strap, one doesn't, and this one is more of a rectangular flap. Now this one features this little skull as well, which I can totally write you a pattern for. But more importantly, this will take you about an hour, whereas this will probably take you 2 to 3, depending on how fast you can go. Oh, and also this pattern is a more knit look, which is done with slip stitches, where this is done with half double crochets. If you're looking for something super fast, I have these little water bottle holders. They're basically koozies, but they'll fit like a full Poland spring or your giant bottle, whatever you're using. And then I have a flashier version too with this thick yarn, and this uses front and back post double crochets to hold a bigger jug. If you go to the gym, I would use something like this for a big Stanley or just one of those like hourly marked bottles. Our next bag is another one with variations. This is my strawberry shoulder bag. This one's very small, it's made for a child, so it'd be a little bit tiny on my arm. However, the video is up here, and it basically shows you how to do these little color switches, as well as these really cute leaves that fly on and off the box, or the bag. The variation for these takes maybe 20 minutes to make each, and those are these tiny little mini pouches. So this is something I use scrap yarn for, if you're looking for projects that use those. I made some variations with my star pattern too, but these can be used as little coin pouches, or maybe if you carry like crystals and stuff around with you, you can pop them inside and carry them around all day. They also work really well if you're gonna stick it onto a bag and sort of knot it over itself. Without having one here, you'd basically flip it in and over, and that would create a knot on your bag. The final bag that I have here is my classic pouch. So these I make all the time, but I only have the one on me because I usually put my gifts inside of them. But it basically features the same pattern as that tote bag, this one just using a double crochet and having a ruffly top. What makes these so fun is you pull on these drawstrings here, and you can tie them up to make a really cute little gift bag that takes no more than 45 minutes to make. And then you have this really cute little pouch. The next category I'm gonna call accessories, but it's basically just anything that isn't explicitly a hat. So to start it off really cute and easy, I made this little octopus the other night, And basically all that it was for this little guy is a small scale stuffed animal, where you're basically making a big circle, stuffing it up, and then making this little frilly octopus tail underneath. So a guy like this is really simple and he doesn't take very long. And I mean, who doesn't want a tiny little thing sitting on their desk? Or you could even attach a little thing to the top of it, like a keychain, and put it on a bag for a little charm. And speaking of charms, I have my own version of that chapstick mushroom holder. Mine does have some little beads on the top and this little key ring that I got at Walmart, I believe. And it works really simple. You attach it to your bag and then you can lift the top of the mushroom off and your chapstick can go right inside. These are really simple. I'm gonna estimate, if you really wanna be generous with it, it takes about an hour to make. A little bit longer if you wanna make a more detailed mushroom top with like frills and different colors. And the beads, I mean, that's simple enough, whatever you have lying around. I think most of these were just lying in my house or I got at the dollar store. Venturing much further away from that are these little animal hats. So I'm counting them as accessories again because it's like not a person sort of hat. But I have a video for these up here. And the premise is the same as what you do for a normal person hat, except we make these big ear holes. So this is for my dog, Oliver. He's got big floppy ears. So you pop the ears right on through and then it keeps the little heads warm. And then this one is for my cat Patches. Again, this is more of a pointy ear variation where you put her little ears up inside like this. It sits on top of her head. So of course, way too small for a person, but same premise as a human hat. But check out the video, it goes into that stuff pretty in depth. Now the person variant of an accessory that's not really a hat, but kind of is, are these earmuffs that I made. And these ones are super cute. They got little bows on them. And the purpose of these was kind of to upcycle an old headset I had laying around. So it fits the same as the headset does. Big and bulky, really cute, and very stylish, as opposed to just like the same old hat that you've worn a million times. So to spice it up a little bit, these are just another variation of that circular pattern, stuffed with some little, I think I used polyfill for these, and I ended up sewing them around the sort of ear puff, ear cover part of the headset. Everything else is just kind of fit to match. If you want a video or a pattern, please let me know. They're very simple, just have a few intricate details that make it easy to fit to any sort of headset. Of course, the easiest and probably most beginner-friendly accessory in the world are scarves. And these, I've used a million different patterns over the years, but they're just kind of a lot of shell shapes that I've used, but there's literally so many. You can do anything. And the best part about a scarf is you kind of just can repeat the same row over and over, make it as big or as small as you want. If you're looking for any type of fancy scarves, I have a little mystery here on what next week's video is going to be. Spoiler alert, it's like a snowflake scarf. But that will be next week. A little bit more in depth than these more basic ones. This one is just all double crochets. But we're going to be going over how to get the proper length and width for what you want. A lot of mine I like to go over to here, but I have some long ones as well. And I'm going to show you how to do all the different variations of those. So subscribe, hit the notification, all that stuff, and follow me on Instagram and you'll get the notification next week when my new scarf video goes up. Now something that might really be a stretch from calling an accessory are these jewelry holders. As you can see, I actually have the one right over here on my wall from this video that I made a few weeks back. And that is the more difficult version of all of these very simple designs. So the premise is just one really big long piece like this. This one was made to be folded up. Ones like this are made to be hung up on the wall. And they all have different things. So this can be used to attach earrings to or necklaces hung up around. You can also just put your earrings into the stitches themselves. I also make a couple tiny versions. So I have ones like this you can hang up on your wall and then put a couple pieces on them. This one I did a little design. I have some really tiny ones that are meant to throw in your purse to hold maybe your earrings and your bracelet and your necklace for the day. So all sorts of shapes and sizes you can do for these. And I mean, something like this will take 15 minutes. So depends on how quick you need a gift ready for. Next in this category is any sort of coaster or sort of granny square flat coaster design. Of course, basic circles are so simple, where you will build your magic ring or your chain ring, build it out as much as you like, and then do one row of regular half or double crochets. That's the very basic version, but let me know if you need the pattern for it. I've made all sorts of shapes and sizes for circles. Basically, it's a really good project if you have 15 minutes lying around and a ton of scrap yarn. I've even made like really tiny one for like wine glasses and stuff too. And these are great to just keep in your living room, give a nice big bulky stack, and then tie a bow around it. That's a great present. I've also made some bigger ones. This was a prototype actually for that scarf video that I mentioned, where I'm trying to do some snowflakes, but this was an earlier version that did not work as good. But it's a cool design. It's very spiderwebby. Something like this is great. And then I've also, along the lines of that, have made these little charm-like coasters, and these are more wine glass size. These are work in progress. I'm gonna add some little flutteries and like frills to the ends. But like a little flowery shape like this too is super easy to make. I think the 4 of these all together took 20 minutes. So something really tiny like this will look so cute on a table. And it's stuff that a lot of people who are maybe have their lives together and have houses would love to get as a gift. Next up is from one of my more popular videos, and that is my mini skirt. And something like this is super adjustable, covers your backside pretty modestly while still looking cute and tiny. It has a drawstring in the front here, so you can tighten it as much as you want. And I mean, because of the triple crochets and the huge stitches that are made here, this sort of thing only takes 4 hours maximum, even though it is a clothing staple. So this is simple, but I do have a version like this as well, where instead of using triple crochets, it uses double instead, as well as some front post, back posting for your hem. And this version does not have the booty cover, so very, very not modest. But these sorts of mini skirts take very little time if you want to give someone something more clothing related, as opposed to just making a hat or some gloves or something like that. Our final accessory are my bunny gloves. These I just put up a video for, link over here. And the premise of these ones is basically, I'll even show you now, you roll up your sleeves, you pop them on like this, and then you have a really cute bunny on the end, and they would come up much higher if you weren't wearing a giant jacket like mine. So these are super simple and take about an hour each for maybe 2 hours altogether. And the best part of these gloves is that they lead into our next and first hat, which is the matching bunny beanies. So these ones, video up here, are basically the simple beanie pattern, which everybody needs one of, but this one also shows you how to make these nice long ears that match the gloves that I just made. So something like this takes a couple hours because you're building the ears as well, but I have the plain beanies as well. This just uses it without the ears. So if you want to take those two and get creative with them, I made this bunny version where I basically took some scrap yarn, changed up some colors, and made some little flowers too, like cute little designs to throw on. And then I've even changed up my beanies a bit. This is a kid-sized one, so a little bit smaller, and it's very sturdy as opposed to some of the more stretchy adult ones. And I made one with double crochets as opposed to half double too. So this gives you a really stretchy and wide fit, but a slightly different look as opposed to the regular half double crochet style, which you can see if you get nice and up close here. Similarly to those sort of beanies are the more intricate ones. So this one I have here has just the same double crochet pattern where you're expanding your circle, but the color switches that I did create this sort of boxy grid. And I also added the little ear flaps, which is one of my favorite things personally, as well as the pom-pom on top to have that cute, like, classic wintry feel. You can also add some braids to the bottom, which is what I did here. And it basically connects the little flaps over the ears to a nice long braided piece. This one goes with that distress scarf that I made, the black one, before. And one of my most favorite pieces in my whole collection, which is this like fluffy cat-eared braided, there's bows, there's lace, there's ribbon, there's safety pins, it's a whole to-do. But this is a beanie as well. So, promise you put it on like this. Gives you some big old ears, nice and long braids on the bottom. This one's a lot, it's very extra, but it's one of my favorites. And if you like the look of the braids, but you want a different flavor, I have made this jellyfish hat, video up here, and this one features these cute little tentacle wraps instead of the braids. It's more of a bucket hat in style, so you know you'll pop it on. The frills frame your face, and you have these giant tentacles in replacement of your braids. And if you want to follow that same pattern, you can also make things like this. This is made with bunny and goat fur and is basically the same pattern of just getting bigger and bigger and building it out. This one just doesn't have the tentacles or braids or anything. And of course, like the more you get comfortable with experimenting with patterns, you can use something like this to come up with another more simple. It is more simple than the other one, but it's got some intricate details. This sort of hat features these little windows at the bottom, even though it still uses the foundation for the bucket hat. And then I have one like this, which I put some horns on top of. Of course, this one's got polyfill, so I could shape them, and it fits on and over like this. To really branch further off, but still using that same pattern, I have this little bonnet here. And this one, you know, you can put it on like so, tie it up in the back, cover everything here, and then tie it in the front. So of course, even though they're all stemming from the one pattern, they all have a very different look to them, and each piece is very unique in its own way. If you're looking for something very chic and classy, I have this classic beret. Even has a little thing on top. And this was to match that two-part series with my letter bag. And these berets fit very simply right over the back of your head like this. And I have plenty of variations. It is one of the more simple hat patterns where again, you're just starting with your circle and getting bigger. The only difference is that you're then going to decrease back on this side, which will be explained in this video. Another classic option is this like Russian style ear warmer hat. So this is actually two pieces I sewed together. I just made this the other day, so I'm writing the pattern for it still. But it features the front and back post double crochet pattern. And then that top part here, just like the berets did. So this one is up and over. It's very thick and warm. And as you guys can see, it looks really good with a bob or a shorter haircut. But something like this, I think only took me 3 hours to make. It's very repetitive. But if you're interested in a pattern, I'll be coming out with one very soon. Similar to that last hat are these classic cat ear beanies. And these are, this one I actually knit, but you can replicate a knit with a slip stitch. Basically what you do is you make a big old square, fold it over and sew your sides in, and then you pop it on your head and it makes these cute little cat ears. So again, if you need a tutorial for this, please let me know. I'd be happy to make one. But these are simple and there's so many things you can do with them. This is another one I made with scrap yarn and just matched a bunch of colors I thought looked cool. I've done ones like this with a little bit of that front post classic ribbed hem, and then I mixed some mohair with the regular yarn to make the white parts. And I also wanted to bring out my first ever crochet project, which is this chowder style hat, and it has these little hearts sewn on. So just kind of to show people what it's like when you're first starting. This hat was the first thing I ever made almost exactly 2 years ago now. And you can start here and it will be so simple. It is one stitch over and over and over until you get to something big. And with that, thank you all so much for watching this week's video. I hope to see you again next Sunday at 1 p.m. And if you want to take a look at anything that I've made today, patterns are up on Instagram, items are for sale on Depop, and I also make TikToks now. So if you want to see more of the processes that aren't listed in some of these YouTube videos, please go and check that one out. Thank you all again, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.